All of my hair in the hat? You got it. I used to work at a cafe run by a director who would invent health code policies just so she could tell us to do something. According to the supposed new code, braids and hairnets were no longer compliant, and all our hair had to be inside the hat with no flyaways on the side. The hat was one of those cheap snapbacks with a bill in the front and a thin fabric head part, typical of food service workers. I had very long, thick hair down to my lower back. Normally I wore my braid through the hole in the back. To comply with this new policy, I put all my hair on top of my head with enough metal hair clips to hold all of the flyaways that were now no longer contained, and put the hat on top of my tower of hair, Marge Simpson style. The actual health code says you're supposed to wash your hands after touching your hair, but those metal clips needed to be opened and closed frequently as the short hair in front of my ears would, of course, come loose. My hair is smooth and only slightly wavy on the top half of my head. There was nothing holding it in. It was ridiculous, but it gave me something entertaining to joke about with the customers. The hairnets and braids were allowed back not long after. The only thing that would have made it better would have been if we'd had a black person with a big, natural afro. I would have died to see that control freak's face at refusal to comply with that no-no and her inability to do anything about it. Just reminded me of that character name, Hat, in the movie Club Paradise. I was visiting a plastic film manufacturer once and had a hat on and was with the maintenance guy. I was wearing a hat of some sorts at the time also. As I found out after, resident busybody walked by and screamed at me for not wearing a hairnet and that a hat wasn't enough. I removed my hat to show my freshly shaved scalp and said, "Oh really?" She scowled and walked away. The maintenance guy chuckled, said he appreciated that 'cause she's always bossy. That actually is a legitimate health code thing. Having your hair tied back if you work in the kitchen isn't good enough. It has to be contained in a hairnet, a hat, or a scarf. Why? Because, especially with hair as long as yours, there's still the risk of your braid falling into the food. So you normally wear a hairnet on your head but still have an open braid down your back through the hat, and the hanging braid is not in a hairnet? That's what I'm getting from the way you described it. And at least in the US, that is indeed a health violation in a food environment. All hair needs to be in a hairnet. Nobody wants hair in their food, and I'd turn right around and file a complaint in my car if I saw someone with hair worn like you describe making my food. Extra large ones exist for people with too much hair to fit in the standard size hairnets. Your boss, store, should be ordering some of those for you, and if they refuse you should go above them to corporate, or if there is no above then you could complain to the city health inspection people about your job not providing the required gear. All of the hair can't fit in the hats at my job for a select few people. But those people wear the extra huge hairnets, so it's all still contained. The hat is just an extra layer required where possible. So for everyone except those physically unable to do so, who then wear the big nets. Checkmark compliance ? Malicious. Ever see a hard hat balanced atop a giant bundle of Rasta dreads? He must have had a friend put it there. It looked to be out of arm's reach. And, I assume, glue it on.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.